The Coleman bike did 37 miles an hour last time with the intake, performance intake, and the header pipe. But it would cut out for some reason. It kept cutting out at about 37 miles an hour. It would just totally die. So I don't know if it's fuel or if it's just this governor, because it still has a mechanism hooked up. And you can see the spring under there still. It still has a spring and the entire mechanism. So I'm just going to take off this entire governor mechanism and just hook the throttle directly. And then run it and see if it has to do with that governor. And if it doesn't, then I'll mess with the fuel. Maybe change the float level. So yeah, I'm going to check that out. Let me pull off this fuel tank. And I can take this whole mechanism off. Man, 'cause that's a lot of stuff on there for just a throttle. Alrighty then. There we go. Move that puppy out of the way. Yeah, you can see that big old, all that mechanism right there, which it does not need for the throttle. So you can see the governor is still, you got the wheel inside the engine, the governor is still inside the engine, and it still has contact with this spring right here. So this spring still controls the throttle a little bit in some way. So I'm wondering if the governor is still pulling it back. I'm not sure, but I'm going to take off this entire mechanism and find out. Take this baby off over here. Pop that spring out. Yeah, it doesn't need any of this stuff. There we go. Pull that out. So now you just have the wheel inside the engine. I could always take that off later too, actually. Maybe I'll leave this nut on there to make sure that rod doesn't fall down in the engine. Alright. There we go. Yeah, just let that on there. That way this rod's secure, because it still has that plastic wheel down inside the engine. Now this part, I can actually use this piece to hold the throttle cable, but this piece here I don't need. All right. Pull all this stuff off here. All right. So instead of using the rod that came with it, I'm just going to use a coat hanger wire and then bend my own rod, just with one bend in it on this side and straight on this side. But first, I got to get the coating off this thing. Alrighty then. All right, so I got the coating off of it. Yep. So now I just make my own rod. I'll just put that same bend in it for the throttle. I'll put that same bend in it for the throttle right there. Put a bend in it like that first, where it's kind of up. All right. Put that baby in the throttle. There we go. So now it fits in there. That little bend fits in the throttle. Pretty cool. There you go. I can actually put a bend in this too, where it keeps it away from this bracket. Kind of bend it in a little bit. All right, so I put the little bend for the carburetor side, then I put a bend on this side, so it'll keep it the rod away from this bracket. It'll kind of push it away from the bracket. So now I got this on, the rod on there. I can actually use this spring, the factory spring too, as a throttle return spring, to still put it back on. All right, put this on there. Put the little fitting on there. There we go. All right. All right. All right. There we go. Now it's totally without the governor at all. Nothing to do with the governor anymore. And it still uses the factory bracket, which is cool. And I think the gas tank will fit back on there, no problem. Alright. That was easy. Total governor bypass. And then later on I can take the engine apart and pull that plastic gear out of the crankcase if I wanted to. Pop this baby back on here. Alright, got the governor removed. I'm going to go out and test it out and see if it'll do over 37. Alright, see what she does. Seems more powerful. Alright, you had a top speed of 40.21. Alrighty, so the minibike did 40.21 with the governor throttle linkage unhooked. So that definitely made a difference. And it doesn't die out now. So yeah, that definitely helped taking off that return spring, because that spring was still hooked to the wheel inside the engine. It was actually pulling the throttle back, even though the that screw was busted off here. That stop screw, it still don't matter. It still didn't matter when you really get on it, because the governor would still kick in and pull the throttle back. So yeah, that definitely made a difference, changing that throttle linkage. So now I'll probably just try to maybe jet it maybe just a little bit, just to see if it'll help. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe it'll help enhance the effects of the intake and the header pipe. So I might just throw a little bit bigger jet in it. But anyway, so yeah, it's definitely a good mod, and that definitely does totally stop the thing from dying out.